Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to try and move on from the disappointment of the midweek result. I know it's difficult, and I know for some of you it'll be hard to shake off, but I hope you've got your Men in Black pens at hand, because we're wiping it from our memory. That's right, we're just going to wipe it from our memory. Let's pretend it didn't happen, for now at least. I know that it's going to be difficult, but we've got to look forward. That's all we can do. There's no point looking back. The season goes on. These results come and go, and sadly for Celtic, they come and go more often than they do for others. Anyway, we've got a few things to talk about. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. We're trying to get as close to 50,000 subscribers as we can this year. So if you go down below, hit both those buttons. It's absolutely free. And of course, you can become a channel member if you choose to as well. But we've got a few things to go over today in what is generally a quiet news day for Celtic. But we have updates on injuries, on international selections, because there's an international break coming, sadly. And a bit of news from Adidas, which could be seen as good news for a change. You know, long gone could the days be of shite kits. You know, this is good news. So this morning, Celtic and Adidas announced their newest range of teamwear for the 2024-25 campaign. Once again, rinsing us of all of our pennies, because this time round, I must give Adidas their round of applause. I must give them their plaudits. I actually do like this one, retro inspired, and yeah. Mikael Lustig back for the photo shoot as well. I mean, you can't complain. 2 in 1, a nice collection, and Mikael Lustig. Love it. These are some of the pictures on screen of the new Adidas Originals X Celtic FC collection released today, which is a bold, nostalgic set of pieces, perfect for those who want to stand out on match day. It includes a jersey, zipper, sweatshirt. There's a few things. We'll go over them in a minute. Essentially, it's a new collection coming from Adidas, which has been released for a number of the big clubs. There's already ones out there for Manchester United that's been in stores for quite a while, but now Celtic join that list of clubs with this retro-inspired look, and I'm a big fan of it. I am. I'm a huge fan of it. So, of course, I showed them all on screen a moment ago, but here is Mikael again, looking absolutely dapper, I must say, in this fantastic new look. It's got a sort of, I don't know, a Jamaican vibe to it almost. I love it, just with the colours going on in the jerseys. The prices I'm not as much a fan of, but nonetheless, it's what you come to expect nowadays. The jersey comes in at £85. The track jacket also £85. The t-shirt comes in at cheapest for £40. Hoodie, once again, £85 as well. If you want the pants, the joggy bottoms, 75 quid. 75 quid for a pair of joggy bottoms, I know. And I think that's it for the collection. Yeah, so you've got a few things there to choose from. The cheapest item coming in at £40 as the t-shirt, but I think the top sellers are definitely going to be this track jacket and the long sleeve jersey. I must admit, I love it. This gives me Packy Bonner vibes. This is like, you could see the goalkeeper wearing this in the 1980s. It was leaked a while ago, but now that it's out and we've got to see it in the kind of photographed images and stuff, yeah, I love it. This is definitely something that would have fit right in the 1980s under Umbro, but nonetheless a good effort from Adidas. Just wish they put the same sort of efforts into the kits, you know? That would have been nice. So you might be thinking, Ryan, you're just going to sit here and look at these kits all video. No, there is actually some news that comes alongside this announcement this morning, and it is that potentially there will be an announcement coming soon that Celtic have extended their deal with Adidas. Yes, this was the headlines this morning, that Celtic and Adidas, £29 million cash boost, that has a manufacturer ready to pull the trigger on a new deal. It's reported that Celtic and Adidas are ready to extend their deal beyond the end of this season. The article published by the Daily Record goes on to say that Adidas are reportedly ready to extend their agreement with Celtic after a profitable first 4 years. They switched to the German sportswear giants in the summer of 2020, signing up to a 5-year deal, and obviously this is the last year of that. It was the biggest kit sponsorship ever to be announced across Scottish sport. It's gone seemingly well, according to plan, and ESPN reported in 2023 that Celtic kit sales generated £29 million for Adidas and put them in the top 20 for kit sales among football clubs worldwide, which means that Adidas are very, very keen to have Celtic back on board. We are a cash cow, you know, and some people might hate to admit it, especially across the city and down south across the border. Celtic are one of the world's biggest clubs. You go anywhere in the world, you will see a Celtic shirt. It's as simple as that. It always has been the case. And I know we're going to get the green and grey hoops to your auntie's funeral, green and grey hoops to your dad's wedding, all that pattern. But, you know, can't help it. Celtic, one of the biggest clubs in the world. And we also have really nice kits. Simple as that. It means Adidas want us back. The Daily Record also mentioned that the agreement expires at the end of the season, but it looks unlikely that this season's kits will be the last produced by Adidas, because footy headlines are reporting that Adidas and Celtic are ready to pull the trigger on extending the deal, and it seems increasingly likely a long-term agreement will be announced before the end of the season. So footy headlines, who are usually spot on with their details when it comes to kits and kit manufacturing, it's something that doesn't surprise me. It's something that I fully expected. There was no way that Celtic were going to let Adidas go, and there was no way that Adidas were going to let Celtic go. The only other manufacturer that can compete with the money that Adidas pumps into Celtic and vice versa is Nike. And it didn't seem like that was on the cards for Celtic coming up. So Adidas were going to be desperate to keep Celtic this season. And the numbers from the kits we've sold and the money we've made is exactly the reason why. There is no details as of yet to how long this extension will be. I've heard rumours personally it might be a 2-year extension on top of the deal that's set to expire, which would take us up until 2027. So there's a chance it could be the 2 years. There's a chance it could be much longer than that. We're going to have to wait for details, and that of course includes the financial details of the deal as well. Of course, this one we signed with Adidas was the biggest in the club's history, and I'm assuming that any extension would break any records when it comes to yearly profits made or yearly financials. Of course, the overall deal wouldn't be bigger if it doesn't stretch over 5 years, but if it does stretch over 5 years, then it looks as though there'll be even more money coming into Celtic, potentially record-breaking money coming into Celtic, especially because we're due to be made an elite club. And no, Rangers fans, that's not just me saying that we're an elite club through my green-tinted specs. That's apparently what Adidas aim to make us as part of this new deal. Footy headlines also reported that more Adidas teams are set to become elite clubs from the 2025 to 26 season, and that includes the likes of Celtic, Ajax, Aston Villa and Newcastle United, amongst others, joining the original 6 that they already have on board as elite clubs. So basically Adidas tier their clubs into A, B plus and B teams. The A plus teams, or the A teams as we all know at the current moment, Manchester United, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, etc. Celtic are set to be joining them as an elite club, which means A, more money for Celtic, B, more lines for Celtic, so more of these, you know, sportswear launches that will contain more tracksuits, more t-shirts, more training gear, and more effort in general just put into our kits. You know, we've seen the exclusive third kit range that was brought together for Manchester United, Bayern and such this year that was absolutely stunning, and Celtic were left out of that. Well, that means in future we should be involved in those sorts of exclusive ranges. So that's a nice bonus, I suppose, if we become an elite club. There's an actual definition on screen. So this is the definition here. You get A plus elite, which is Real Madrid and Manchester United, Arsenal and Bayern Munich as well. A elite, which is Juventus, A elite Flamengo, and then B premium is the tier above Celtic at the moment. Celtic are down in B apparently. So yeah, we've got to move up a little bit in those rankings, but it means we'll get more. And listen, you're not forced to buy it, so can't really argue with it. It's always good to have more variety. So that was the big news for today, but on the park as well we have some major news, and for most people this will be even bigger than any talk about kits or kit deals, because we've got updates on Cameron Carter-Vickers and Alistair Johnston ahead of this international break that's coming up. Both players won't be going over to North America to join up with the Canadian and American national side, which is, let's be real, great news for Celtic. These are two players who've been struggling with injuries through the opening exchanges of the league season, and they need a break. They are well overdue a break, and they're finally going to get one, because it looks as though both men won't be going on this international break. Jesse Marsh, the Canada manager, said this about Alistair Johnston. saying that he's had an injury and will be rehabbing the injury, so he won't be joining up with the Canadian national team. Talking about him and Ismail Kone, said it's back and ankle injuries for the both of them. So Alistair Johnston will be staying here to rehab that injury over the 2-week break. Basically confirms that he won't be playing this weekend against Ross County. Not a huge deal, but early team news nonetheless. If he's going to be going to rehab that, then I would assume that Rodgers isn't going to play him. Would be a bit disrespectful towards Jesse Marsh. Not that I care, but yeah, it looks as though he's out for the weekend and he'll be away nursing that, hopefully back in time for the return for the restart of the league season when we're back. And Cameron Carter-Vickers as well, he's not been included in the roster, as they call it, for the US national team. As you can see, Austin Trusty has been. He is going to the US trip to Texas, but Cameron Carter-Vickers is not, who also of course has been struggling with an injury and will get time to rehab that over the next 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, 2 of our key defenders, 2 of our starting back 4 allowed a bit of time to breathe and rest, which is good. I hate these international breaks for so many reasons, but at times like this, it's good to see that, you know, both our manager and the national team managers respectively have, you know, come to senses and saying, you know, let's not pick them. Because Johnson probably could play. He probably could. He probably still could go and travel at the very least. But Jesse Marsh has allowed him that time to rehab the injury. So yeah, good news for Celtic. Hopefully they're back as quickly as possible when the season restarts. And that is about it for today. If you've enjoyed, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments below about everything we've discussed. We'll be back with the Celtic the Thunder on the channel tomorrow as well, so keep an eye out for that. But until then, take care, God bless, and I'll see you all next time. Shout out to everybody who has joined the 118 Club or the Thunder Club thus far. Thank you for your continued support here on Ryan 118, and enjoy your moment of glory here on screen.